What are the levels of growing a flooring store and how do you reach the next one? Hi, I'm Jacob. I'm a former mortgage-backed securities trader turned entrepreneur, and in 2024, I bought a flooring business. As our business expands and we look for those to acquire, I've spoken to a number of owners that are either looking to acquire or maybe spread too thin at their current level. I hope this video sheds some light on what others have done to break past their current ceiling and what your business could look like at the next level. For the buyers I speak to, this is what each size of business could look like and what you can do once inside of it to take it to the next level. Important caveat here, every business and personal situation is unique. This is only meant as a general guide. That said, if you feel like I missed a milestone, please let me know in the comments. Lastly, be sure to stick around until after level 5, where I'll share my main takeaways that I feel apply to every level. At the very beginning, we have the owner-operator level. This is typically from $0 in revenue to $500,000 or $750,000 in revenue. This may just be you and a truck with some mobile samples. You're doing everything from sales to ordering to managing the installation and the subcontractors and collecting payment. When you're not quoting jobs or answering the phone, you may be doing bookkeeping, running marketing, making sure your content's up to date if you have a Facebook page. You should start trying to implement some systems like a CRM or maybe QuickBooks. Part-time bookkeeper could also help with things like scheduling or paying installers, which will take a little bit off your plate. After the solo operator phase, you're going to get into the $1 to $2 million revenue range. Typically, this will come with a staff of you plus 2 or 3 people. At this level, you're still heavily involved in operations, but you have some help with basic administrative work, maybe help with installations, and maybe even some sales help or somebody answering the phone. At this $1 to $2 million size, you're the bottleneck for almost everything. Every major decision, every customer issue, and every estimate runs through you. Whenever you get stretched thin, quality and customer service also become inconsistent. At this point, we want to continue to build out the core functions of selling and delivery. Typically, the operator is still checking jobs, building quotes. We want to take those off his plate. How we're going to do that is we're going to make a project manager hire that is checking jobs, making sure that installations are up to par. And the sales hire is going to be responsible for bringing on new clients, building the quotes that then the operator can approve. Really, this is about building systems for handing off projects once they're completed and making sure that they're ready to invoice, that they're up to par, and that callbacks are happening in a timely manner if needed, and also that the sales function is still running whenever things get operationally intense. Once you have these core functions built out, passing 2 million in revenue, you probably have a bookkeeper, a salesperson, a project manager, and you're ready to keep growing up to the next milestone, which is typically about 5 million. Around 5 million, you may be starting to max out your current location's capacity or be hitting market saturation if you're focused on one segment, whether that's builder or retail, especially if you're in a tertiary market, say under 100,000 people. This is the time when you start thinking about adding other lines to your operation that's already working well. This could be adding builder to your retail business, adding commercial to your builder business, or opening a second location. The key here is expanding capacity, not just working harder. As you get that second business line or second location, your workforce continues to expand and you're probably back to being maxed out. You're managing everything, you're making every hire, employee issues, operational decisions, it all is flowing back up to you. At this point, it's important to either promote or hire into a management layer that can then start to answer those questions and allow you to focus more on working on the business and reinvesting and looking for more growth opportunities. You may have a general manager of the second location, and oftentimes you're going to start tying these manager outcomes to the overall health of the company, not just their one segment that they may have been working in previously. As you cross 10 and certainly $20 million, you're starting to reach real scale. You're tracking metrics rigorously. You may be looking at acquisition opportunities. You're focused heavily on strategy, not so much operations. At this level, it's much more about efficiency, systems, and strategic growth. And you're competing on operational excellence, strong culture, and smart capital allocation, not just hustle. Disclaimer, we haven't crossed $10 million yet, but this is what I'm told it looks like. One of my main takeaways from looking at the different levels a business could get stuck is that at each level, it typically requires at least one hire and typically 2 in order to break through to the next point. In the early days, between $500,000 and $2 million, typically you're going to need 1 and maybe 2 hires in order to take a lot off your plate and then reinvest in the things that matter and focus back on strategy. Whenever you reach that $5 million point, again, you need to reinvest in hiring more salespeople and project managers. But oftentimes at this point, you also need to invest in software. If you're adding a business line and you need to find new customers, whether that's commercial, residential, or reinvesting in marketing, you may be spending between $1,500 and $3,000 a month in order to really get the results you want. This on top of a couple hires at that $5 million level can also feel like heavy reinvestment. Even when you get to the $10 million level and you're looking at strategic acquisitions, it's a reinvestment in the business in order to grow again. Put a nice bow on this as we continue our growth journey. My three main principles come back down to reinvestment, people, and systems. Whether you agree, disagree, or you've seen some parts of your own growth journey as we talk through these, love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.